Hey guys, what's going on? It's Empirant, and today I just wanted to go through some quick Age of Empires 2 math, looking at exactly how many villagers you need on each resource in order to keep up constant production in the Feudal Age. So, just a quick note, this is being done without any eco upgrades. I know you're most likely going to have like double bid axe at least, maybe wheelbarrow even, especially if you're staying in Feudal Age for a long time. However, we're going to look at it without any eco upgrades. If anything, that'll just make it that much easier for you if you do get the upgrades to keep constant production up if you're using these same numbers. So first one we're going to look at here are archers. So for archers, you're going to need 2 on wood and then 4 on gold. It is important to note that this is assuming you have a pretty decent mining camp placement and not too much vill bumping. Obviously, our 2 back villagers here are not doing a very good job of staying efficient. But that's okay. We should still be alright with producing our units. It is important to note none of these numbers are exact. So, like the real number for villagers on wood is actually 1.83. But obviously you can't have 1.83 villagers. So you need to round up to 2. Same thing with gold. You really need only 3.38 villagers, but obviously can't do that, so you need 4. However, that does bring us to an interesting situation. So if we move to 2 archery ranges, now we'll still need 4 on wood, so 2 for each archery range. However, because our gold requirements are actually 3.38 for gold, we can get away with just 7 on gold total. So here we can keep up constant production from 2 ranges, which is a pretty common thing to see in games, with just 7 on gold and 4 on wood. Again, we can get away with 7 on gold simply because the requirements for gold are only 3.38 villagers, so times 2 is below 7, so you can actually get away with 7 instead of having to go the full 8. However, it is important to note, got villagers coming over from our other spot there. It is important to note that it can still be worthwhile to put 8 on in case you're looking to get upgrades, in case you want to sell some gold later, or buy resources later in the market. So it's still a good idea to sometimes put 8 on gold, but if you're going with a really tight build and for whatever reason you need just that extra villager to be off doing something else, or walling or anything like that, you can get away with 7 on gold for archers. Now we will look at scouts. So for scouts, the only resource that you need is food. However, you need quite a few villagers on food in order to keep up constant scout production. So for scouts, you need 8.3 vills. Again, we round up. So you're actually going to need 9 villagers on food in order to keep up constant production. Which the real sin here is that with 9 on food, you can't have a perfect windmill around the mill here. So for those of you who are OCD, sorry, maybe you don't want to go constant production scouts. But if you do want to, I would suggest 9 on food. It's not too common to see people making enough scouts to where you would need constant production like this. However, occasionally if you want to go all in Feudal Age, anything like that, might just be good to know so you can keep up your scout production. Now we will move on to the Skirmisher. So it's not super common that you're going to have to keep up constant skirm production. However, it is not totally out of the question if your opponent's going for some really heavy all-in archer play. Maybe you're up against Britons. It's certainly not out of the question that you're going to need to constantly be creating skirmishers on occasion. So in order to do that, you are going to require 5 on wood and 4 on food. It is important to note, and we'll look at this in 1 second though, that the 5 on wood is just barely. The exact amount is only 4.07 villagers. So what that means is that to keep up constant skirm production, well, you needed 5 on wood in order to produce out of 1 archery range. If you're needing to go really heavy skirms, you actually can get away with only 9 on wood instead of 10, like you would think if you're just going from the 1. And then the food villagers, those will be exactly like you would think, with needing the whole 8 on food. Right. Next we have the man-at-arm or militia. Both cost the same amount to create, both have the same creation time. So both will have the exact same needs for resources. So for the man-at-arms or militia, you are going to need 3 on gold, and then we will need 9 on food. So actually quite a heavy food cost for these. Normally you're not going to see this too often in a game, but occasionally if you're a civ like Celts, sometimes you see it. Wong likes to sometimes make a whole lot of militia in Dark Age. So this is what you would need to keep up constant protection of militia or men-at-arms. One important thing to note, this is not taking into account any civ discounts on units. So these numbers will not hold true for, say, Goth, which is the other civ that this sort of play would be likely to be seen with. So just be aware, you can probably get away with a few less if you're going Goth, trying for man-at-arm or militia spam. But otherwise, 3 on gold, 9 on food should get you constant man-at-arms or militia production. Next, we will take a look at the Spearmen. So this one would be really, really strange for you to ever need to spam constant Spearmen, but maybe you're up against somebody looking for that Feudal Age all-in scout rush that we were kind of talking about before when we were looking at scouts. You want to keep up Spearmen production. Well, this is what you need for it. You're going to need 3 on wood and 5 on food. Important to note with the Spearmen, those numbers are actually really, really tight. So it's 2.9 villagers needed on wood or 4.97 on food. So you're definitely not going to be able to get away with skipping out on a villager for Spearman production. You also are probably going to struggle if you're running into a lot of villager bumping, have really poorly placed farms, anything like that. But again, probably not too much to worry about because it's pretty unlikely you're going to need to worry about constant Spearman production. But in case you ever want to, now you know. Now for one of the most fun units you can spam in Feudal Age in the game, Eagle Scouts. So in order to spam Eagle Scouts, you're actually only going to need 2 on food, and then you need 4 on gold for it. Important to note, Aztecs, you do create your units a little bit faster, so it can be a little harder to keep up constant production. However, you should still be okay getting away with these numbers. It's not too super tight. 1.79 villagers needed for food, 3.76 needed for gold. So if you want to be safe, if you're trying Eagle Flood in Feudal Age with Aztecs, maybe throw 1 more on gold, 1 more on food per barracks. And you should be all set for sure there. But otherwise, you should be able to get away with just 4 on gold per barracks and 2 on food. And last but not least, we will look at the villager. So most of you will know that in Dark Age, you need 6 on food in order to keep up constant villager production. However, that is using sheep, which you gather from slightly faster than the actual gather rate from farms. After you take walking into account, villagers do not gather from farms while they're walking around the farms. So this villager right now, while they're walking that distance, was not gathering food. Because of that, your actual gather rate is slightly lower than when you're gathering from sheep, and farm placement can also have an effect on that. So you actually are going to want 7 farms. Our enemy scout is running underneath our TC here. But you're actually going to want 7 farmers in order to keep up constant Vil production without wheelbarrow or any upgrades like that. Thanks a lot, guys. I will be doing a follow-up video for Castle Age units and how many villagers you need on each resource in order to keep up constant production in the Castle Age. However, that's it for now. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope to see you on the stream someday. Hope to see you in the next video. And otherwise, have a good one.